I'm David Tuckman alongside Robert Williamson III. This is the 4th season of the FullTiltPoker.net $1 Million Cash Game. Phil Ivey has won 2 of the first 3 seasons, and I wouldn't count him out just yet.
No, he's got the whole table covered, so he definitely is eligible for a big pot.
If you have 3 big pairs in a row, you can win 225. Okay.
Can I get another 500 for the big blind?
And we're playing $500, $1,000 blinds with a $200 ante.
3.
Ivey's going to raise, and I got to imagine it's pretty automatic on the button.
He's got the computer hand, Queen 7.
The cards are irrelevant, aren't they?
At this juncture, fairly much.
And those cards are definitely not irrelevant. Ace, King, big slick for Cyril Mooley.
And he flat calls, playing this hand rather deceptively.
Yeah, well, flat call, but unfortunately for him, Ace, King out of position. Now what do? Ivey's got a gut shot.
10.
Paired the board.
Yeah, it goes check, check. Check, check again. Here's the river. Pot is $7,500.
King.
Well, the river's a king.
I might solicit a bet from Mooley now.
Oh, there's the bet.
8.
Ivey not going to call. Mooley takes it down. Well, you know what they say about no limit hold'em? Hours of pure boredom.
Moments of sheer terror.
And that's what we're waiting for. Phil Ivey on the button. He's first act. And I got to imagine this is pretty much an automatic fold. Wow, I'm surprised.
Me too.
Well, Feldman, Jack 3 of spades. He's going to complete, and my guess is that Mooley is going to raise. If you're going to complete there, you have to know that Mooley is going to raise. Why complete just to fold?
I concur 100%.
I mean, if you complete there in the small blind, you know 100% of the time Mooley is going to raise. Don't complete unless you're going to call a raise.
Period.
3-handed at the FullTiltPoker.net $1 Million Cash Game. I'm David Tuckman alongside Robert Williamson III. Yes, that Robert Williamson III, the PLO expert. We're watching No Limit Hold'em, and we're watching a short-handed game, 3-handed. Blinds are $500, $1,000 with a $200 running ante. Pocket 3s for Phil Ivey.
And a Jack 9 offsuit for
Cyril Mooley going to call this one. And Mooley has outflopped him. He's hit his 9. He's also the gut shot straight draw. Not much there for Ivey. And it goes check, check.
9.
Pot is $9,000. Oh.
3 9s for Mooley.
And
but he's not going to get any more moolah from Phil Ivey.
And Mooley going to take that pot. Phil Ivey shows him the 3s, tosses him in the muck, and Mooley collects the chips. Tom Dwan has rejoined us. $2 million at this table. Action is on Andrew Feldman. This is a straddled pot. Phil Ivey's decided to put 2,000 in. And Feldman going to raise this up. And that's why.
2 matching 9s. 1 red, 1 black.
Cool.
2 matching 9s.
Well,
is there a way they cannot be matching? Well, oh, wow.
Look at the pot developing here.
Now we've got a raise from Feldman on the button. A call from Mooley in the small blind. Ace King for Dwan. Ace Jack for Phil Ivey.
We might have a pot developing here.
Oh, I definitely think we've got a pot developing here. And the original raise was $6,100 from Feldman.
29.7.
You get a call, then you get a re-raise to $29,000 and change from Tom Dwan. Now we've seen Feldman already throw pocket 8s away. Pocket 9s? Now you said he wouldn't play anything queens or above.
Yeah, but this is a little different situation. It looks like a squeeze play because of Cyril Mooley calling in between.
I understand it looks like a squeeze play, but I don't think Feldman wants to gamble, and that's exactly why he does. He throws it away. He's up over $100,000. He's just not in the mood to get into a big pot against Tom Dwan.
Even in position.
I think he just has so much respect for Tom Dwan. I think if you were to ask him, he probably thinks Tom Dwan's a better player than him. Right now he is. Give him a couple of years, though. Feldman will be there.
Well, I think the stakes have something to do with it as well. Tom Dwan plays these stakes on a daily basis, and these are pretty big stakes for Feldman. I know he plays high, but I don't think he plays this high.
Well, Mooley not going to play it, and it's a great move by Tom Dwan. He didn't necessarily need a hand to make that move, but this time he did have a hand. Ace-King. And he wins himself about $14,000 without even seeing a flop.
That's always the way you want it if you can have it.
Hi, I'm Tom Dwan. I'm 23 and I play poker. I grew up in Edison, New Jersey, and now I live in some combination of Boston, Vegas, San Diego, wherever the big poker games are, wherever some nice beaches or some fun times to be had. To be winning at high stakes poker, you need to be constantly adapting. So obviously a year later from any given game, if you're a winning high stakes player, you should be playing better. You should be more experienced. I would say I'm playing a little better, I'm a little more experienced than last year, but the difference is marginal in my opinion. Hopefully the results will be better, but we'll see. Obviously in any one session there's a lot of luck, and hopefully it'll be on my side.
You gotta love Tom Dwan in your game here. He's about $400,000 in front of him. He's bought in for $500,000, so he's down about $100,000.
Big for me.
I think Feldman needs to start limping in that spot. That's the only way to combat that.
And you too as well.
Well, if you don't want to play a big pot, if you want to see the flops cheaper, you got to keep the pot cheaper.
3,000 straddle.
Now there's a straddle from Mr. Patrick Antonius. Welcome back to the game.
And I believe Andrew Feldman has raised it up.
And he has.
7,000.
Raised it up this time with King Queen. Made it 7,000. And the interesting thing is, if these players know the kind of hands that Feldman is folding, you can re-raise them pretty much every single time.
That's true.
Well, Feldman's going to win that one. It's the FullTiltPoker.net $1 Million Cash Game. Some big names here at the table. Patrick Antonius, Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan, Andrew Feldman, and Cyril Mooley trying to combat these three.
7.
Well, 7,000.
Cool.
Dollar raise from Mooley and a call from Tom Dwan with the King Queen.
Pass.
Ivey gets out of the way. Antonius gets out of the way. Tom Dwan's got to love it. Heads up against Mooley.
With position.
Here's the flop.
5, King, Queen.
Well,
He might have just got his wish. He flopped top 2, and Mooley flops a flush draw.
yeah, this has got the makings of a monster. Mooley, a 2-to-1 dog. He's got the flush draw. He's going to lead out for 15,000. It looks like.
20.
Actually, 20,000. He overbets the pot. Tom Dwan with top 2.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a flat call. He might try to trap Mooley.
Mooley with 172,000 at the start of this pot.
Cool.
And you called it. Tom Dwan does call. Pot is now 56,500. Oh, it's the 9 of diamonds. Tom Dwan not drawing dead, though. Mooley has made the flush. Dwan needs a king or a queen on the river.
I think Mooley has to bet again because he can't take a chance that Dwan has a diamond in his hand.
Patrick Antonius watching this one. Big pot brewing.
53.
And he bets 53,000.
How much more do you have?
80?
No.
80? Maybe? 100?
2 black chips or 3?
80,000. 80,000.
Just 2 black chips?
Dwan asked for a count. He wants to know exactly what he's up against, how many chips. And I tell you, Mooley started this pot with $172,000. Dwan has him covered. And Mooley has bet $53,000. And now just the question, does Dwan think he's got the best of it or not?
No.
And he's all in. Tom Dwan is all in. There's no way Mooley's folding this one.
I can't imagine him folding this one.
No chance.
I call.
And he calls.
And he calls.
Mooley calls. And Tom Dwan has 4 outs. He needs a king or a queen, or he is going to double up Mooley.
And a $346,000 pot at stake.
1 card left. A flush for Mooley. Top 2 pair for Dwan. Here's the river. It's a queen!
My gosh!
Unbelievable! Oh!
What a dagger in the heart of Mooley. Wow.
Well, you know, if there's any justice. Oh. Unbelievable. That's all I can say.
And you can see the dejected look on Mooley's face. Wow.
Remember earlier, Tom Dwan lost a $500,000 pot when he got all his money in with pocket aces against Patrick Antonius' kings.
Oh, 150 more.
What?
150 more.
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Mooley gets his money in good. Tom Dwan down to 4 outs with 1 card to come. Catches the queen.
And that pot actually puts Tom Dwan winner in this game.
Mooley now down $450,000.
And it looks as if the Frenchman is accepting defeat.
And Cyril Mooley is taking the long walk away from the table. He was once the big winner. He was once up $200,000. He's going to leave our big loser losing nearly $500,000.
Cool.
Well, it's a long, long walk out of the casino.
I'll tell you that.
Cool.
Well, we're still 3-handed, and it's 3 of the world's best. There's Patrick Antonius. Next to him, Phil Ivey, and next to him,
Cool. Ace 10.
Tom Dwan. Just 3 of your average Joes playing $500, $1,000, $200 ante. No limit hold'em.
With over $500,000 in front of each of them.
Yeah. 3 players at the table,
Check.
and well over $1.5 million.
Check. 9.
Well, that's an interesting card. Tom Dwan
Check.
is open-ended. Patrick Antonius also open-ended. He actually has an open-ended straight flush draw.
He sure does. Patrick Antonius does.
Yeah, Tom Dwan ahead, though, with the queen high.
10.
See how this one plays out. Well, Antonius is going to bet $10,000.
Not an easy call for Dwan, but most likely he will call here.
Cool.
Well, he does. He calls.
Two.
Well, if there ever was a blank in the deck, that was it. It's the deuce of clubs on the river. It goes check. Well, Antonius is going to have to fire again if he wants to win this pot.
And I suspect he might, because he has a hard time showing Jack high down to take this pot. 23,000 in this pot.
Just a question of what he puts Dwan on, and can he get Dwan to fold?
If he bets, he's going to bet around 15,000. But he might check right here. Does he give up just like that? I think he's going to fire.
22.
Well, he bets 22,000. It's a big bet.
Almost a full pot size bet.
Well, Tom Dwan, if only he knew where he was at.
Pass.
But he doesn't.
I'm Patrick Antonius, one of the biggest cash game players in the world. There are a lot of players that they have problems in other fields, selecting good games and money management problems. It takes a lot of conditioning. You have to be mentally in good shape because just the one kind of tired moment can cost you so much money. So you have to always be fresh when you play because there's really not room for any mistakes. It's not really how great you play some sessions. It's if you have bad sessions. So always give your A game. You'll be fine.
You just can't imagine a lineup like this. Patrick Antonius, Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan playing No Limit Hold'em.
So Phil owes you 15,000.
Can you mark me for plus?
Why are we playing so cheap? It's just the three of us. I just thought of that. What do y'all want to play?
What do you want to play?
I want to play
Mr. Fresh?
I want to play any of this. That's what I want to play. I want to play.
Mr. Accept all that.
Any of that, and then what are we gonna do here?
Button in front of Tom Dwan. I can't think of a better short-handed lineup.
Blinds are 500, blinds are 1,000, 2,000.
They've upped the stakes. We are going to play 1,000, 2,000 blinds with a $500 ante. Yes, you've heard that correctly. It is $1,000, $2,000 blinds with a $500 ante. We're playing three-handed.
Yeah.
Phil Ivey with the Jack Deuce.
7.
Andrew Feldman standing up behind Patrick Antonius. And there's Patrick Antonius' cards, Ace 3. And Andrew Feldman has had enough.
Can we play Omaha too or no?
Feldman's won about 130,000 today.
Pot limit Omaha?
It was a good showing for the young poker player.
7, Ace, 9.
What time we done for today? 9?
Check.
Dwan versus Antonius.
7,000 total.
Give me 500 more then.
Patrick Antonius with top pair.
$13,200.
Tom Dwan gonna bet $13,200. Pot is $17,300 before that bet.
13,200.
Now, pot is over 30,000. Can't imagine Antonius folding top pair though.
Go.
And he just calls that.
Perfect.
Doesn't feel like breaking up his reds. And here's the turn.
5.
5 of spades. Tom Dwan cannot win this pot unless he gets Antonius to fold. Pot is $43,700. Action on the Finnish superstar.
Oh wait, I have you guys covered. I don't need a problem.
Check, check.
Then he goes check, check. Here's the river.
Jack.
River's the jack of diamonds. Well, if there were any more cards, Dwan would be in good shape. Unfortunately for him, that's it. Well, Patrick Antonius, let's see if he puts a little value bet out there. It looks like 30,000.
32.
It's 32,000. $32,000 bet. I mean, Dwan's only got queen high. Phil Ivey gets up from the table. He's watching them. Patrick Antonius, though, staring straight ahead, giving nothing away. Pot is $75,000, and it's $32,000 over to Dwan. Dwan's only got queen high, but he's reaching for more chips. Could he re-raise this? He's counting out chips. He's got some black ones in his hand. Is he going to try to represent 10-8? Nah, he's not. He thought about it. He thought about it for a second. Well, he thought about it for longer than a second. But at the end of the day, he thought better. And his cards hit the muck. Tom Dwan, a very thoughtful poker player. He thinks everything through.
Chicken.
It's the $1 Million Cash Game. This is the leaderboard. Patrick Antonius on top of it. He's up $209,000. Andrew Feldman, who has just left the game, is up $131,000. Gus Hansen has already left $119,000 up. Our big losers, Alan Cunningham, what a surprise. Nearly down $200,000. But our huge loser, Cyril Mooley, is out. He's been felted a few times, down nearly $500,000. And the stakes have moved up here. 3 players remain in the $1 Million Cash Game. It's Patrick Antonius, Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan. They've upped the stakes. We are going to play 1,000, 2,000 blinds with a $500 ante. Yes, you've heard that correctly. It is 1,000, $2,000 blinds with a $500 ante. We're playing 3-handed. Phil Ivey has rebought in for another $500,000. He's now in this game for $1.2 million. He's got $1.13 million in front of him. Patrick Antonius, $609,000 in front of him. Tom Dwan with $538,000 in front of him. Over $2 million at the table. Just these 3 players are playing.
So instead of the $1 million, the $1 Million Cash Game, this is a $2 million cash game now.
It's absolute insanity. Remember, we are playing now $1,000, $2,000 blinds with a $500 ante.
King 7 offsuit
9,
for
10.
Phil Ivey. Deuce 5 offsuit for Tom Dwan.
Check.
Well, Dwan with the best of it so far. He's got a pair of deuces.
Eight.
And these players wanted to step it up a little bit. Andrew Feldman said, okay, that's all right with me. I'll shake everybody's hands. I'll take my $131,000 profit. I'm going home.
Cool.
Well, Dwan's going to call. Pot now $30,000.
2.
Well, if you weren't quite sure about your deuce on the flop, I think Dwan likes it now. He's got trip deuces. He cannot lose this pot unless he folds.
Check.
I think the only card that would trap Phil Ivey here on the river would be a king, though.
Well, it's not a king. It's a 6 of diamonds.
Probably see some kind of a value bet here. Maybe 20,000, 10, 15 to 20,000 from
Check.
Well,
Check.
Tom Dwan.
Dwan's going to check it, hoping Phil Ivey tries to steal it. Ivey thinks better of it. He knows Dwan can do that. Unbelievable. Blinds are 1,000, 2,000 with a $500 ante. Phil Ivey's got over $1 million at the table, and we have over $2.2 million at this table. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's 24 hours of straight poker.
Cyril didn't play with him?
No, he
And
did.
I'm
There
up
was
on
one
my
day
feet.
that-
I mean, I'm
there
so
was one
excited.
day.
If you're not excited, you might be dead. Check your pulse.
And then Arno. And that was it.
Button in front of Tom Dwan.
No.
Now, in this case, the button is actually going to act first pre-flop,
7.
but gets to act last post-flop.
6, 7 of hearts will open the pot. It's
Yeah.
the hand that Tom Dwan has in front of him right now. Phil Ivey with an ace.
Maybe David too, I think. Yeah, Bobby too.
23.
Ivy going to raise this up
total.
to 23,000.
Pass.
In position, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a call from Tom Dwan here. 17,000 more, though. That's an overraise.
Tom Dwan thinking about what to do here. He's got 7-6 of hearts.
Ironically enough, we have a coin toss before the flop.
I mean, Robert, who has the edge in this game? I'm looking Patrick Antonius, Tom Dwan, Phil Ivey, 3 of the best in the world. Who's got the edge?
I'd be guessing if I told you. I don't really know.
Well, go ahead and guess. I'm curious.
I have to say Phil Ivey overall, but it's a close one, real close.
Well, Tom Dwan is going to call. We're going to see a flop.
3-5.
Jack 5-3. Both players pick up a gut shot. If the 4 falls, talk about an action card.
Especially if it's not a club.
If a 4 falls, we're going to see some action. Ivy with a 4 would make the wheel. A 4 would give Dwan the nuts, as long as it's not a 4 of clubs, like you said.
Yeah.
Phil Ivey bets out 35,000 into this pot.
Pot is an astonishing $84,500. There's no going back from this.
This is a tough call for Tom Dwan, actually. He's got enough gamble. He's capable of calling here.
Well, it's not just calling for a 4, you're calling to float as well. And
Cool.
In position.
he can call to represent clubs. He can call to represent that he's got a pair of 5s, a jack.
Cool.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Oh, wow. This is unbelievable. Ivy cannot win this pot, but he's made a straight.
Both players have a straight.
Talk about the gin card. Ivy makes the wheel. Dwan has the absolute nuts.
We could see the largest pot ever in televised poker history.
There's 75,000.
80, 85,
90.
90,000.
90,000. Phil Ivey bets $90,000. If you're Tom Dwan, what do you do?
Wow, with a flush draw out there, I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and raise right here. But I'm not going to raise my whole stack. I'm going to raise it about 200,000 more. Make it look like I can still lay my hand down. Maybe 150 more even.
Now, Ivy's one of the best in the world, but can he get away from a wheel? He's made the straight. Both players have made the straight. Tom Dwan with the absolute nuts. Oh, talk about a gin card on the turn. Well, the biggest pot in the history of televised poker is just over 900,000. We have a chance of breaking that right here. Tom Dwan with the nuts. The 7 high straight. Phil Ivey with the 5 high straight.
He's definitely going to raise here.
The pot is $209,000. The action is on Tom Dwan.
Unbelievable.
142.6.
And the raise is 142,000 more. And this is where we're going to see how good is Phil Ivey. He's staring at Dwan's stack, trying to figure out where he's at.
258.
Can I have it all? Can I get all those chips?
I don't think Ivey can get away from this hand, but I'll tell you what, he is considered the best cash game player in the world. If anybody can get away, it's Phil Ivey.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know if Ivey wants to get away.
I'm all in.
And he's
all in! Oh my gosh.
Ivey is all in. Dwan calls with the nuts. Ivey cannot win this pot.
Wow. Good hand.
Oh my gosh.
That's no good.
We have just broken poker television history. 1.1 million in this pot.
And he's drawing dead.
It is the biggest pot in the history of televised poker. And it's going to Tom Dwan. He's got the nut straight.
We just saw poker history made right here tonight.
26, 36, 96.
And they're counting the chips right now. The Jack of Hearts in the river, completely irrelevant. A 1.1 million chip pot going to Tom Dwan.
Make sure these aren't 30. Yeah. You can leave that out.
Oh, Patrick Antonius even wincing. Everybody standing up.
360, 370, 380,
400,700.
390.
Wow, Phil Ivey saying goodbye to all that money. Those are $25,000 chips. A $1.1 million pot going to Tom Dwan.
Phil Ivey lost over $500,000 in one hand.
Tom Dwan is now up $608,000. Phil Ivey now down $627,000. Phil Ivey still feeling the sting.
Well, I guess I have half this real.
Both players with straights.
Maybe all of it.
Tom Dwan with the nuts.
Should I just take? Let me just take. I'll just take the whole thing.
Seems fair to me.
Ivey on the button, 6-4. Not going to play. Patrick Antonius. King, Queen. When you get a raise from Antonius.
6-4.
Possibly a re-raise from Dwan with the King, Queen. Let's see how it's played.
Quote.
When we get a call, we're going to see a flop. Eight, 6, 5, couple of spades out there. Both players miss. That's not a surprise. Pot is $14,300. And I've got to tell you, Robert, I'm actually shaking in the commentary booth. I'm actually shaking.
Wasn't even our money, and I'm in just disbelief. I'm in awe over here.
Well,
It's
Patrick
like-
Antonius bets $10,000 there, and he takes that one down. And we're still talking about big pots here, but never before a $1.1 million pot.
Well, we knew it was possible the second they raised the stakes, and they all had over $500,000 in front of them. But possible doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. It happened. We said it before offsuit rolled off the deck. We might have a big pot. And wow, we were right.
Well, I thought to myself, I said, wow, the 4 would be the gin card. I didn't think it would actually come.
You know what happened to me?
What happened to you?
Buttons in front of Antonius.
I think durrrr more than made up for that aces against king nightmare against Patrick Antonius earlier in this match.
You think?
Dwan versus Phil?
By the way, remember, he got lucky against the Frenchman just a little while ago. He caught his 4-outer on the river to double up. Then he wins a big pot off of Ivey with his gin card when the 4 falls. I mean, unbelievable turn of events for Tom Dwan.
He was 355,000 loser earlier. $1 million turnaround.
And that's exactly what it is. It is $1 million swing for Tom Dwan.
Queen 3-2.
David, can I ask you a question? Right after that hand, that $1.1 million pot Phil Ivey lost,
Check.
he smiled. Could you smile after that? Tell me the truth.
I wasn't even smiling in here. I was shaking. Unbelievable.
7.
Wow.
There's Phil Ivey. He's our big loser.
Check.
You don't hear those two words together very often. Big loser and Phil Ivey.
15.
Wow.
Well, Phil Ivey, over $12 million in tournament winnings. A final tableist at the 2009 World Series of Poker main event. But today, he's down over $600,000. And this is the last hand of Season 4 of the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. It's been an absolute privilege to be here.
Sure has.
Once again, I'm David Tuckman. I'm joined by World Series of Poker bracelet winner Robert Williams III.
And this has been the most exciting match I've ever watched, David. I don't know about you.
What's been fantastic about it, we were 8-handed, we were 7-handed, and now we're 3-handed. It's like the last men standing, and it's 3 of the best. Unbelievable. $2.2 million on the table. I don't know about you. I can't wait till Season 5 starts.
It'll definitely be exciting. It's going to be hard to top this season, though. I mean, we played the largest pot in televised poker history.
Raised to 13,200.
I think that every year. I think every single year that I can't top it.
This game's over. We quit.
It's all over. That's it.
And no more chance for redemption for Phil Ivey? Not tonight, anyway.
Well, the winner is alongside. We can start only in one place, and that is that incredible hand with Phil Ivey. Can you just put into words, what it felt like when the cards were turned over?
I mean, the cards turning over didn't matter as much as me hitting the Jing card on the turn and being pretty happy when Phil bet into me and just hoping he had a hand too, and he did, and it was just a sick cooler for him. There's no way he can get away from his hand, and I just got a lucky turn card.
Oh my gosh!
Every time that happens, I'm gonna get all the money there. I mean, the pot's already 100,000, and he turns the third nuts, and I have the best possible hand. I mean, I'm always gonna win all the money, so there's nothing you can do there. So I was just really lucky to be in that situation.
It was incredible to watch. Obviously, we spoke to you throughout the course of the cash game, and when things weren't going too bad, you were pretty philosophical about it. Did you feel that the big hand was only a few moments away?
I don't think I'm ever too philosophical. I was just hoping to run good, and then I did.
Come on.
And he's all in! Oh my gosh.
Ivey is all in. Dwan calls with the nuts. Ivey cannot win this pot.
Oh my gosh.
It's poker, you can be down one hand and win it all back plus on the next, or you can just keep losing or keep winning, whatever. There's a lot of variance in the game, obviously, as you saw today. And there can be huge hands where, no one could do anything different in either spot, but just happen to have 2 huge hands against each other. So.
I must say as well that I think you were the record holder for the largest ever pot win before today. You've enhanced that again further. How far are you going to take this?
I mean, let's keep going. Seems like a good plan to me. Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, we'll do like 1.3 in a few months, and then that'd be sweet.
It's going to make brilliant. It's going to make brilliant television. And a final question as well.
But to clarify, I want to win it. I don't want to just keep being in them. I want to keep winning them. Losing them would be no fun.
And we must just quickly ask you as well what it means. Obviously a prestigious table that you've been playing amongst. You are the champion this year. How much does that mean to you?
I'll take the money. I don't know. It's nice to win.
Phil, I'm afraid there's only really one place we can start. Even for someone as philosophical about cards as you, how much does that massive hand, the one that got away from you, hurt?
It doesn't hurt at all, actually. I'm kind of immune to it. I mean, it didn't really bother me. I mean, the hand kind of played itself. Once I re-raised him and then the 4 came on the turn, there was nothing I could do. The money's going to go in the middle. He had the best hand. I had to, the second best hand. That's just the way it is.
That aside, how did you feel you played over the course of the cash game?
I thought I played pretty good. I'm not unhappy with the way I played. I thought I played pretty good. I bluffed the pots I needed to.
Wow, what a play by Phil Ivey. He always seems to know exactly when to bluff, how much to bluff, and who to bluff.
And I won a lot of hands. I was doing a lot of dancing and in and out of a lot of pots. That my timing was decent. Besides that one hand I lost, everything was going fine. I was breaking about even. I mean, nothing really good happened. So, you know, I thought I played all right.
How easy is it to compartmentalise, you know, a loss like that and presumably just move on and keep going, keep winning in the way that you have been?
Well, it's easy for me because, you know, I play poker every day almost, and those hands, they come up all the time. So sometimes you're on the right end of them, sometimes you're not.
Season 4 of the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game started with $300, $600 blinds, 7 players, and $1 million on the table. It ended with $2,000, $4,000 blinds, a $1.1 million pot, and Tom Dwan as our big winner. Patrick Antonius also won big, $228,000 richer. Andrew Feldman, $131,000 richer. And surprisingly, our big losers, Alan Cunningham, almost $200,000 poorer, and Phil Ivey, one of the best players in the world, $629,000. An absolute amazing television event. I hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did. Let's get back to the table for the presentation.
Well, there's no doubt that Season 4 of the $1 million cash game has lived up to all expectation. We've seen some fantastic hands, and poker history has been made along the way. And at the end of it all, we have a brand new champion. I'd like to welcome to the table the cash game manager, Barry Mundy, to present the 2009 trophy to Tom Dwan. Congratulations, Tom.